Growing up, I had dreams and aspirations, but always felt like the kid that didn't fit in. For the most part, I wasn't a bad kid, but when I made the transition into adulthood, I turned to the streets for guidance. This led to getting locked up in juvenile hall, doing time in CYA, and eventually a 120-month sentence in federal prison. I had a lot of time to think and reflect during my federal sentence, so I share with you what I learned, hoping I can positively influence someone else's life with Prison Talk.
What's up? Big Herc 916, getting down with Fresh Out. You know how we do it over here, man. Merry Christmas to all you cheek busters out there. Now this is a cheek buster story for you. Lily Phillips, been going viral, OnlyFans girl. She had her cheeks busted 100 times within 24 hours. Said one guy even paid $1,000 to be one of the 100 cheek busters. Imagine that, man. You come in maybe 52nd, 73rd, you busting them cheeks, man, and them things is already kind of busted a little bit. You trying to somehow make a connection because you are paying and you want to feel like there's a reaction coming from you doing your cheek busting. This is what we got going on. And I'm not judging because I've been on a set where I seen a female back in the day take down 100 cheek busters in less than 24 hours. But how she did it was she didn't really let these guys get in there and bust her cheeks per se. She kept her legs tight. She was, you would maybe be able to get a little bit of busting going on, but for the most part, you weren't doing any long stroking, a lot of short stroking. Spontaneous ecstasy. She did a 100-man gangbang back in the day, before they had, big internet. You had the Houston 500. She did a bunch of dudes. I've seen some females back in the day in the late 90s. They were assassins. They were taking down some dudes, man. And when you were on those sets, I wasn't on the Houston 500 set. I was just I popped in on the Spontaneous set, but I didn't even perform in that set. I was just there, and I seen the number of guys in it. It kind of sent me into shock. Even as a adult performer at the time, I was like, it was a lot of hammers around. They had fluffers. It was a hell of a scene, man. And shoot, I can't remember how long it took for them to complete that 100 guys, because she had breaks. She had to take breaks. She wouldn't let you get in there, and you weren't doing no, like I said, power thruster, no Thundercat. She was a thick girl, and she was keeping them legs tight. And so dudes would get in there, and they would go soft pretty quick because they couldn't really get any sensation. And she wasn't making no connection. She wasn't doing no talking with you. The fluffer, you better try to get what you can with the fluffer, but when you got between her thighs, she wasn't letting you get none of the surprise, per se. But she took down 100 dudes. I don't know what they paid her for that. And then, once she hit that 100, the game just exploded. There were girls doing, 120, 130. An average was like 20 something. But man, the game is quite hard to find you a husband after you've done 100 guys in 24 hours. Now, you do have some guys who are cucks, super simps, and it's no big thing for them to have a female who has taken down thousands. It's almost like a badge to have one of these girls that has this type of reputation. And I'm not here to judge these girls. Like I said, I work with a lot of them, good girls, not nothing, as far as to say that they're bad people. It's just, that's your call. When you do something like that, when you take down 100 guys in 24 hours, you got to live with it. You got to live with it. Now, if it was a guy who took down 100 in 24 hours, it'd be something different. Everybody'd be like, oh man, he the man, blah, blah, blah. He was putting it down. And there's been some guys in the industry who had reverse GBs, and they took down, 100 women in a matter of 24 hours. But for a guy, it's always looked at as different. I know people say double standard, but the guy, if he's, after that going to try to create a relationship, and he's a provider, then it's kind of like overlooked because he is a provider and, blah, blah, blah. And it's a little bit different. Not to say that it makes it right. I'm just telling you how it is. And if the guy, if he's papered, then, most women will look past that. But for a female, unless she's, going to be kind of like paying the bills, I guess, for this guy, it can kind of be a controversial thing because, nowadays everything's on the internet. You find out somebody's name and then you check these different sites. And the thing about OnlyFans, because you have to know the person, and once you find out, you can look and see, what they've been putting down if you want to pay. I mean, people do investigative work now when they find out who you're dating, if this chick looks super hot, or what this guy's involved in. I mean, everybody can look on their phone and do homework. Back in the day, it wasn't like that. You would look at a hot chick and you might think like, okay, she's hot, but unless you were really into watching DVDs, you wouldn't know that she was in a bunch of movies. And I know some girls who are really good girls, and one was a attorney and very smart, college degree, everything, and said that she was treated better in the porn industry than she was in the corporate world. She said the guys were pretty vulgar. The guys, they didn't show her a lot of respect. They assumed that she was in adult industry, that they could make certain remarks at her, and that she was easy and blah blah blah, not knowing that it's work and that she's a professional. And the girls I met in the industry, that was one of the reasons why I got along with them, because I wasn't a perv like that. A lot of these guys that were in the industry I didn't really kick it with, but I've crossed paths with. If it wasn't for that industry and them being producers or photographers or actors, they wouldn't have no game to get any ass. They would not be busting any cheeks, especially these hot young females they would be, hooking up with. They had no game for them. And when they tried to date them offset, it didn't last because they were cornballs. So a lot of these guys were cornballs, but they could keep wood. Therefore, they were in the industry of busting cheeks, and they were professional cheek busters. But there were a lot of just really, perved out guys in there, and it's just a reality, But I was like, the girls would be like, can I get a ride home, or do you mind hanging out until my ride comes, and blah, blah. And I used to be like, cool, because I've seen how just some guys, it's like, look, man, when the camera's on, cool, camera's off, cut. She's not trying to have a relationship with you. She has a boyfriend. You had a good scene. You did what you did. You shot whatever your thing all over, and now she's ready to go. You guys didn't fall in love. It wasn't a love scene. Adult movies, it's not love scenes. You're on some just really animalistic type shit, and that's what it is. But for, like I said, a female, especially a young female, you have to be able to deal with the psychological of 100 wee-wees and trying to, I guess, manage that image. Like this girl says, she, maybe remembers 6 guys.
Like when we're getting on a bit, I've got like a routine of like how we're gonna do this, and like it just sometimes you'd like disassociate and be like, you know, like it's not like normal sex at all. In my head right now, I can think of like 5, 6 guys, 10 guys that I remember, and that's it. But it's just, I don't know, it's just weird, isn't it? Like, if I didn't have the videos, I wouldn't have known I've done 100, you know? But yeah. I think that was kind of the hard part, is like conversing with them, and like when they'd kind of be like, oh, like we've only had 2 minutes or 3 minutes and you said 5 on the message.
Did someone say that to you?
Yeah. And obviously it just makes me feel so bad.
Do you think you should feel bad about that?
I mean, out of 100, that's a lot. I mean, 100 females, I couldn't tell you the 100 females I came across, you know, in the industry. I wouldn't know. I mean, it was just like you get into a zone. It's almost like, you know, you're shooting free throws or 3-pointers, you know, you block out everything. You're not thinking about the crowd, what they're saying, you know, the guys are lined up, the noise in the background, and that's how you have to be when you're on the set. You got to block all that out. You got a camera guy, you got this guy, you got that guy, you know, this the light person, the grip, and you have to, man, back in the day with the lights on your nutsack and all that stuff, man, you had to really be zoned out to focus. There was no Viagra, no Cialis mode. But Lily Phillips, man, I guess they're doing this documentary, and just, I guess the psychology behind, you know, I don't know if it, you know, comes with trying to please each guy or trying to act after that point, you feel like you could have feelings for a guy beyond, you know, just a sexual interaction. Can you really have intimacy, like the kissing? You know, some of them females, after they've been through that many wee-wees, you know, and getting thundercatted, they don't even know how to really kiss or be intimate or just cuddle. You know, and you might say that's corny, but, you know, regular guy, you know, you cuddle, watch movies, you be intimate, you kiss. Not everything is busting cheeks. It might just be hangout time, but some females, maybe because it's just, they're used to disconnecting so much, they don't even know how to do that, you know, because you're not really being intimate when you're, you know, only fansing or you're doing adult movies. It's work. And there's been people who have thought they fell in love and try to hook up afterwards, but then now you're like, well, I don't know if I wanted to go on to the next one, because what if he thunders her like I thundered her, and he's got a big swipe, and, you know, it's a lot of emotions and feelings come into play. Or she might be like, oh, she's hot, and what if he gets with her and likes her better than he liked me, and oh man, she's one of those ones with the Niagara Falls, and blah 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 blah. It's a lot of stuff, man. It's just, you know, in dating somebody in the sex industry, it's a lot, you know, and you got to be a person, you know, detached, and you got to be able to have, I guess, a certain understanding. But when you got hammers, you know, some of these dudes packing, you know, half a yardstick, you know, and they plowing, and you know, and you hearing things that you ain't heard before. It might be, oh man, you have nightmares, and then you in bed with her, and you like, man, am I doing it like he was doing it, or what's going on, man? And you know, is it still there? Is she thinking about him when she's with me? You know, a lot of guys, you know, that's how it is, and that's why some guys, when they find out who a female's ex is, they're like, oh, what was he like? Oh man, he was balling, huh? Oh, you guys used to go there. I can't take you there, and you know, even on the money's time, oh man, he. You know, I'm gonna try to like see if we can do that. You know, what'd you guys do when you guys went there, and blah blah blah. So you're trying to one up her ex, and that's not a good look, because sometimes you can't one up these dudes. These dudes are just balling out of control, and it is what it is. You can't one up them. You gotta accept that. You gotta take her to, you know, Taco Bell. You gotta take her to, you know, Sizzler or wherever, Red Lobster, wherever you're taking. You can't take her to Catch or Roof Chris or, you know, some of these other steakhouses, man. And, you know, if she loves you, you know, hopefully she'll compromise, and hopefully, you know, she'll look at you as somebody she's with because she really cares. It's not because of your pocketbook or your wee-wee, your ding-ding. But it's you know, it's a hell of a situation, man. You know, you get the money. You know, this girl, if one guy paid 1,000, she made 100,000 in 24 hours. If each guy paid 1,000, 100,000. I mean, you look at like, hey, man, you know, instead of being a nurse, I guess if I do that a couple of times, I make $500,000, and you know, what's next? You know, but like I said, I was young, 21, pounding cheeks, thundercatting, MC hammering, doing my thing, had a lot of fun. You get older, you look at things differently. Your ability to rationalize relationships is different. But you go through it in life. And I'm not judging young people. Have your fun, man. You're an adult, you know, and the choices you make, you just got to be able to deal with them later. I know, you know, once I started dating again and getting out in the scene after I did a bunch of time, you know, women would Google me and I would never hear from them again. I'm like, hey, what's up? Wouldn't hear nothing. They done Google me, or their friends Google me and found out I was a ex-drug dealing porn star bank robber. Beep. Next. The ones that stayed around, you know, it had to be more about a conversation. But my business is out there. That's why I said I'm not judging nobody. I have to live with what I've done, who I am. And hey, man, it made me who I am today. And that's why I can speak on Lily Phillips, because I've known women who have taken down 100 guys in 24 hours, publicly and privately. So, Lily Phillips, just something to think about in the future. What you did is cemented now in history, and it's on the internet, social media, future guys. You want to be honest, they're going to find out. And yeah, you know, you're going to have to be able to explain it whether you want to or not. I mean, I had to pay my rent one time. I had to explain busting down BBW. You know, man, you know, work was slow. I had to do what I had to do, man. But I kept a roof over my head, wasn't robbing, wasn't stealing, wasn't selling no drugs. And my Thundercat got me through some tough times. So to all the Thundercats out there, all you cheek busters, all you MC hammers, hey, man. Big Herc 916 fresh out. Subscribe, share the channel, man, and bust some cheeks. Christmas and all through the house. Not a creature was stirring, but your funky ass. Go to BigHerc916.com and pick you up a bundle of soap and wash that funky ass.
Lockdown's over. Get your yard time in. Exclusively at FreshOutSeries.com.